Decoding Christus Painting 666. Well, that's not the actual title of the painting I will decode today. There's a less than perfect image of that painting here. It's titled A Goldsmith in His Shop. Today's decoding is motivated by the work of Tracy Derwin, the founder of Brush Junkie. She's done some good work on the fires, starting back in the day when part of Maui was burned. Is that 5 years ago already? 4? And she does some work with Tartaria. Now she has fairly good following, much bigger than my own, but she's been in the game longer too. And I was hoping she could interview me or at least see my channel, and I think that would be helpful for her work, at least on Tartaria and paintings, perhaps too. Let's if someone could, if some of my friends could post comments in her latest video, inviting her to or asking her to interview me, or at least to have a visit to the Prophet of Fiction, I'd appreciate it. Let's begin the decoding. We'll start with a clip from her latest video, which did motivate today's decoding.
I came across this image in a video. It's a painting from 1449 by Petrus Christus. I don't know who that is, but I saw the woman on the left, and it reminded me of a story I reported on a few months ago, and it was about the Lady of Elche. So this is a sculpture that was found, I think like maybe 100 years ago in an estate in Spain. And it reminded me of that painting, like those things around her ears and the shape of the thing behind her head. And there are other examples. This is the Lady of Guatemala. So they're a little different, but the same idea, those Princess Leia, circle things.
Right, Princess Leia too, from Star Wars. And this is supposed to be a South American coin, if you believe that. No, please don't. These are all fakes produced by the WCC, just like those uninhabitable settlements on the top of Peruvian mountains. But we do have some curious statues here. What inspired whoever made these statues and paintings to create such strange headgear? Well, you have to think like the devil to know what the devil is saying. And well, I have some practice doing that. So let's have a look at what may have inspired that strange headgear. Here we have image of a horse. Please load. There we go. And it has a pair of blinders, horse blinders. Now, not for its ears, for its eyes, but the concept is the same. You want to control what people know, what animals know. And the artist Petrus Christus deliberately made that connection between humans and domesticated animals. Here we have that painting in full. The animal connection is not only created by these strange, what should we call them, ear blinders, human ear muffs. Um, Her husband, or actually, she's just engaged, I suppose. His ears are also covered. Oh, this is not the final. The final he has in the final painting he has no um, halo, so the illusion of being holy was removed from him. The official story is that this couple came to the goldsmith, I suppose, for a ring. She has no rings. He has no visible rings. They wouldn't be visible, but they would on her. Gold ring. And I think Tracy is right. He does look guilty, and she's asking him to hand over some of the evidence. What's he guilty of? Why did he lose his halo? Um, well, this painting is identical to the final. How did they remove the halo so perfectly? Well, there's a question of how were these paintings produced? This is about a yard by a yard, nearly square. But the level of detail in her robe, which we'll examine closely later, and the reflections, it's a bit mind-boggling. Was some form of tech used to produce these paintings? Well, I'm going into my usual direction now. I already have, of course, with the domesticated animal connection, which I should expand on. She has this strange headgear, not only because her ears are covered, but she seems to have a pair of horns or antlers. Again, making her either a domesticated animal or prey for predators, carnivores, and of course, cannibals. Why is he wearing red? Seems an odd color choice for a man at work. Is this the blood cult again? What do I have to share here? The scales. Apparently he was weighing the gold or the value of the ring he had produced. But oh, there's the ring. She's asking for it. You can see the scales are not balanced, even though they're both empty. So he was going to deceive her. Yes, this is all about deception. This man, her husband, or what's the word for the man you're engaged to? He's got his hand on his sword. I assume it's a sword. But as often happens in these paintings, the hand is reversed. That's not how you hold a sword. That would make more sense if you were holding a syringe or a hypodermic. And we can't see the bottom of it, so who knows what it really is. Let's have a just look at the detail in this cloth. Textile. It's a text. And in contrast, the hands and the faces, the flesh, the skin is quite simple. Not much attention to detail, even simplified. But this robe, already woven with gold, I suppose. Uh, well, what's going on here? What else should we know about? The scales of justice, yeah, that's another concept. Are these really scales of justice? We do call them that, but it is such a strange metaphor for justice. What, justice weighs more than injustice? What is this such a strange concept? I'm a Libra, I can say that. It's strange. And the sword, what's the connection between a sword and a pair of scales? Have you ever been to a old-fashioned butcher shop? Well, they don't use swords, they use cleavers and carving knives, but as I've said, these swords were the carving knives of the cannibals, very good for separating limbs, cutting through joints, spines, removing feet and hands. You might want a heavy carving knife like that. And then before providing or selling the butchered meat, perhaps it has to be weighed, as these scales were used quite commonly, still are in some countries. So is that possibly the connection to someone with that much money? I don't think she's worried about the weight of a gold ring. She can wear a robe woven from cloth, gold thread. Her husband has a golden necklace, it looks like. And I think I've mentioned before, I've only seen necklaces with pendants like this, and I can't understand what the pendant represents here, but I've only seen this with the secret society known as the Order of the Golden Fleece. All other secret order um, insignia, what's the word, are usually worn on the breast, but the ornaments, the symbols of the Order of the Golden Fleece typically hangs from the neck, from a necklace, as you can see here. And that does connect nicely with the theme, or at least the title, The Goldsmith, Gold, Order of the Golden Fleece. What is Golden Fleece a symbol of? I suppose it's a symbol of the blood removed from the lamb that bears the fleece. The blood comes back, the blood theme. And this is reputedly, allegedly, a girdle to be worn during the wedding, perhaps. Seems to me she could already be wearing it. She's wearing a black one here. Why is this brown one special and reserved for a wedding? It has three lines through it and three sets of 9 diamonds, giving us 30. Oops, giving us 9 times 3. Help me out. 27. But maybe the 3 9s could be 3 6s. We seem to have almost the number 33 here, or 333. Threes everywhere. We'll see later. Girdle. What's the importance of the girdle? I wondered. Is it a play on the word griddle? Griddle, for frying or baking food, a griddle. Somewhat like the Holy Grail, which I think is a play on grill. Holy Grail, full of blood from the grill. It's all about food. These psychopaths can't stop talking about food, and well, here I am talking about food too. Oh, unusual object right here. That's not an ordinary jar, or that looks very odd. I had to think about it and think. And then I made a connection. Here we go. The barrels of cannon. And some of them will have, or at least for rifles, will have a little knob on the top for sighting, aiming. That's quite a close resemblance to what we see here. The gun. Yeah, this man might have a sword. Might. But the guilty man, the thief, the blood thief, has a gun. Don't mess with them. I guess the back of a cannon has a lid like this too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's a few more details to inspect. Oh, here's another image of justice, sword, and the scales of, yeah, the scales of what? And a little bit like the Hecate, goddess of the underworld, and Statue of Liberty. I think this is, well, no, I'm not going to guess, but obviously she's not dressed for war. And we'll wait with that. Let's look at some numerical details in this painting. We have 3 characters, 3 figures, and we have above 3, what to call those things? 3, let's just call them bottles. 2 are the same size, 1 is a bit smaller. What are they doing in a goldsmith's shop? I guess only the lids and the bases are gold. 3 people and 3 bottles. Well, that's how they looked at, the WCC, the World Cannibal Cult, considers all its farmed humans resources of blood and flesh. Bottles can hold blood, I suppose. We can zoom in even more. Let's do that. Petrus Christus. Oh, why is the resolution not perfect? But this is reflecting through from the window. And I thought it was more visible if you go to the Wikipedia page, you can see a little better. But these look like steeples, large buildings with steeples, which would indicate cathedrals, churches. Which brings us back to the whole mythos of Christ and his body and blood. The third one does not reflect the church, any steeples. Well, we have lots of threes. Here's a set of three ornaments, another set of three ornaments. And these three together have 18 jewels surrounding a central jewel, I suppose. Here's three, and three makes six. This one has four, makes 10, and this one has, I know the four white ones, but in the middle are two other ones, so it gives us a total of 8, gives us a total of 18. And that's code for 666. Let's count the beads on this little necklace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Code for 666. This jar bottle, it looks familiar. Like, where have I seen that before? In barber shops? The top has a large bird. I think in better resolution you can find on Wikipedia, you can see it's a swan with a long curvy neck. And below the swan there's two legs, of course, but some other things. And I know swans are used by this cult in images that are supposed to represent Jesus, as the swan has a wound in its breast from which blood is pouring into the mouths of its little baby swans. What are they called? The word escapes me. We have three objects leaning against the back of this shelf. And one resembles an antler. And who had an antler-like headdress? She did. She does. She is considered livestock or prey. I guess it's more like a deer antler. Here we have three sets of coins, nicely rolled. Three objects here. Set of earrings. This one, like tooth-like earrings. Black. And there's a third one here. Last but not least, we should look at the mirror. The mirror reflects, who knows, some people outside. It looks more like our man here, dressed in red, but wearing the black headdress of this man. And there's a falcon. Well, very near. So we have three characters, just as we have in the painting. Who is the falcon? Well, the falcon reputedly symbolizes greed. I don't buy it. A falcon is a predatory animal. Falcons used to wear blinders too, didn't they? I believe they did. Uh-huh. And well, this is not the rich couple we have here. This is a lower class, I dare say, working class, in a working class neighborhood. Oh, well, that's all I can do with this painting. I hope I haven't overlooked any important details. So we can spend a little bit of time on the next painting by the teacher, the master of Petrus Christus. Christus again, of course, they had to tell us it's about blood and cannibalism. Petrus Christus' teacher was Johann van Eyck, the more famous painter. I don't find this painting superior in any way. I think it's the same people, whoever painted these works, the same people made them, the same studio. One moment, if I can improve the lighting on this painting. I think it is dark. Yeah, it's the best I can do. Well, what to say about this one? The title is, now I forget, the Arnolfini portrait. Arnolfini portrait. I had to think about, had to do some nut cracking. What does Fini mean? Well, that's easy to guess. The end, the finish. That left me with Arnold. I thought maybe that's short for Arnold. It's a name, and that doesn't work. Plus, it's cheating. I'm adding a letter. Well, I thought, what about reversing the first five letters, Arnold? And we get Lonra. What is Lonra? Lonra is Irish for light. So end of light, light's end. What could that mean? Why end of light? Well, let's zoom in. We have a lovely candelabra here with, strangely, just one candle burning. That's strange. Why just one? Could it be related to the assumption many people make is that this lady is pregnant? But experts protest. They say, no, she's just holding up her enormous dress as a sign of politeness. Really? I don't think so. This little waif of a woman is very thin. I don't think. Well, she is wearing a heavy garment, but bizarrely heavy. Could she be pregnant? Why would, I mean, I don't think this makes any sense, lifting up your part of your dress when most of it is still on the floor. The whole thing makes no sense. Who walks around in a heavy dress, robe, call it what you will, like this? You'd be tripping over yourself all day. Well, look at this ridiculous sleeve. And Like now that I look at it, it is very strange. What's the top of the sleeve seems to be floating, but no, it's attached to her shoulder. What a strange, strange thing. And it is fur lined, and he is wearing an enormous, ugly, black fur cloak. It's not even a fur coat, a fur cloak in his house. How odd. I think he's wearing it only because the artist wanted to suggest that these people are actually considered animals. Why do you think she has what looks like horns coming out of the side of her head? She's an animal. She's not the devil we imagine. This waif of a woman is could be blown over by the wind. She's not normal. By the way, look at her thumb. No one has a thumb that thin and long, and her fingers, very skinny fingers. And they're so pale, like they've never seen the light of day. So I think the message is that she is pregnant. Oh, there's another animal, the puppy. Yes, why not throw in a real animal to make the point even more obvious? We have three animals here. And this light, what does that light symbolize? I think it's the child, the unborn child. Let's have a close look at the windowsill and this little table. We have what appears to be three apples or peaches, three together, but there is a fourth, as if to reflect the fact that we have four animals here. Sorry. The two adults, the unborn child, and the puppy. Four. And they are reflected and echoed in the placement of the three peaches together on the table. And the separate one is on the windowsill as if it needs ripening, as an unborn child needs a little more ripening, I suppose, before the time of birth, the plucking. Oh, say it's not so. They view us all as food, don't they? Yes, they do. Well, they're in the bedroom. The bedroom is red again, the color of blood. There's a strange chair here, blood colored. It is a very odd chair. Is it designed for the delivery for a woman to lie back on? It seems like this is it's strange. And we have gargoyles everywhere. Not the most pleasant decor for your bedroom. Maybe there's an angel praying. Gargoyle here. And there's another one somewhere right here. Around the mirror, again a mirror. Like, okay, so Van Eyck had his student copy him. They love their mirrors. In this mirror, we are able to see behind our imaginary position, and we are facing this couple, and behind us, or we are, come on, seem to be one or two characters at least in the doorway to this little apartment bedroom. hotel room. I don't know what to call it. Should we call it the stable? I don't know. Strange figure there. Not sure what to make of that. Around this mirror, which reminds me of the portholes in ships. Around this mirror are 10 circles illustrating stations of the cross, the suffering of Jesus before. Well, he was bled here. Maybe that is the moment he was bled. I can't, it's not clear enough to be sure. But some of these smaller, excuse me, come back. Some of the smaller, where are you? Circles seem to illustrate Jesus, May. That's not even Jesus. Children. We have children again. What are they doing in the Stations of the Cross? Stations of the Cross should number 12. We only have 10 here. Something not right, as usual. Some children here, perhaps, and a figure behind, facing them with an arm raised. That's not a good sign. Maybe more, it's so hard to tell. A smaller creature, child here. Well, one more detail to take note of. What was it? Did I cover everything? Did I uncover everything? Shoes, very strange pair of shoes. Wooden clogs, poor man's clogs. And I guess he's standing in his socks. Where did they get these expensive furs and gowns if they're so poor? How did they afford this room? A pair of shoes there, right by this chair that I think is for the delivery. That's a woman's pair of sandals, I assume, hers. Well, I'm afraid we're dealing with more evidence of the WCC, the adrenochrome addicts, the cannibal cult. Same as with the first painting, the goldsmith in his shop. I'm sure that one candle will go out very soon as this woman delivers her child. They want that child. They want that fresh blood. They want that peach. And then perhaps it's the end of the day for them too, the parents, perhaps. Or perhaps they can breed again. Well, that'll do for today. Um, how is this relevant? This is not just trivia. How is this relevant to us? It's relevant, extremely relevant, because, well, in first, these paintings are not 400 years old or 500 years old. They are maybe 200 years old. They were painted for us, to mock us, by this cult that was right to assume most of us wouldn't guess what these paintings are actually about. And it's relevant because these people are still in charge. These are the people we are ruled by. And that should give us reason for pause, shouldn't it? People who hope that the economy will improve somehow, despite the evidence that over the past at least 60 years, 70 years, living standards have declined in first world countries in the West. Yes, they let us build a middle class, and that helped seduce us with money and luxury, opportunity. Uh, it seduced the entire world. Everyone wanted to join the luxurious West. Well, it ain't so luxurious anymore. People are panicking. People are getting enraged and depressed. And I'm sure that is also, unfortunately, entertaining the powers that be. They love to see us suffer. They are sadists. So please don't. I mean, I will. I think I will do a video on the suffering that's going on out there. People are posting and crying. Don't do it. It's what they want to see. We have to unite, work together, and not just content creators, as I spoke about at the start, but all of us. And we have to dump this golden cage they've handed us, which is slowly revealing itself to be a cage and not so golden. So yes, these analyses, although about not ancient, but Renaissance paintings, it's a long time ago if you believe those dates, but it's very relevant to understanding who's in charge today. And it ain't the Jews that painted these things, nor Freemasons, nor Jesuits, just aristocrats. With that, I wish everyone well, and please talk to people. Of course, you probably know the result. It's very hard to wake people up. I don't like that metaphor, but there it is. It's very difficult to make people at least curious and doubtful about who's in charge if they're not doubtful already. But try to start it. Just sometimes a question will do. Don't offer too much. Don't expect much. And maybe invite one of your friends to look at some of the paintings I've analyzed. Something like that. We can all think of doing something more than just listening to the prophet of fiction and other good content creators out there. We must be active. This ain't public school. Take care, everyone. Be healthy and be well.